This is one of the most left on bottlenecks in the info space right now, where most businesses are just like 20, 30K a month, even up to like 50, 100K a month from paid traffic. And they think that they're going to increase their ROAS and get the highest ROAS possible by just focusing on ad credits, media buying, or outsourcing it to like an agency that focuses on ads or those kind of things. When in reality, they're going to get the highest ROAS possible by just fixing this one thing, which is sales systems. It's literally just focusing on sales systems and the pre-call process. What happens once your leads booking a call from your funnel until they actually hop on that call and close. And we've noticed this across multiple clients and multiple niches. In the sales space, we've noticed this with a client that we got to 70K a month in the first month after onboarding him, literally implemented all of these things that I'm going to talk about. In the Create Reaper space, it's literally the only bottleneck that they had. And in the YouTube automation space, where it was on webinar, evergreen webinar funnel, this increased show up rates and higher intent leads, leading to a stronger work call process in no time by implementing all this stuff. So first things first, we start in the funnel. Here, we have to make sure that we are not wasting the closers' times and the SDR's time as well on DQs and low quality leads here. So first things first, just define the criteria for the leads that should be on the calendar and the leads that shouldn't be on the calendar. So just think through your ICP and think through the things that you will want them to have once they're actually booking a call, so you understand which disqualifier questions you should have in your type from your application, in your form, whatever you have there. And also understand that if you're running ads, you should only send the leads, especially on a VSL funnel, you should only send the leads that are the highest quality to the confirmation page that has a pixel. You can separate this. So those leads that have like 5K budget or whatever budget you need for your offer, just send them to a confirmation page with a pixel. Those who don't, just send them to a confirmation page that has no pixel. You can either have this for people that are maybe not like 5, 10K budget, but they're like 2, 3K, and just send them here. And those that are completely DQ, just don't even get them to a confirmation page, just DQ them in the type form in the first place. But after they book a call, the first thing that they're gonna see is the confirmation page. Here, you have to make sure this is dialed in, because it's literally the first point of contact after they have shown intent in your offer since they booked a call. One of the things that we're going to be doing here is helping them do their due diligence, not just saying thank you for booking a call, hope to see you there. We're actually going to help them do their research, because they are going to do it on their own. So might as well just help them out ourselves from our perspective, which is probably was right in the first place, if you actually have an honest approach and your fulfillment is correct. So how do we get these questions? How do we get these videos? First video is always to just congratulate them for booking the call and just making sure that they understand what this page is for. But then we actually get their burning questions answered, quote unquote, here. This is just pre-handling, pre-framing objections that are the most common in your offer. You can gather this from your sales team, from your ICP, understanding what the industry is like, what common misconceptions they have about the industry, and just answering those. Then the most frequently asked questions, you need to get this based off of your sales team, because one thing that you don't want to do, especially if you're taking the course yourself, is just answer the same questions over and over and over and over again. So here we're probably going to have like 8, 10 videos. There's people with even more than that, and your process are not going to watch all of them, but they are going to watch the ones that are the most relevant to their situations, or the ones that they think are the most important to their situations. And we also show proof that it is going to work for their situation as well, since we're going to have multiple variety of prospects, or not prospects, but case studies and people that have gone through the program that have been in the same situation as them. So that way they feel more trust, especially in this trust recession that we're going right now in the info space, is going to be very, very helpful. And also setting expectations for the call, just so they understand what it is for, and not just think that it's like a free value call, or that they shouldn't be with their camera on and all those kind of things here. Second thing that we focus on in terms of sales and actually backend process is the pre-call assets. It's going to be very, very helpful for you, for your sales team, and for your automations. So we make all kind of like PDFs of proof tailored to every single kind of process that we get. Usually there's only like 2 or 3 types of processes that you get through your funnel. It is like a common repeated pattern. Of course, there's like nuances to each one of them, but we craft all of these based on the ICP of each offer. Of course, case studies, breakout videos, intro videos here. This all with the intention of prospects showing up prepared, nurtured with high levels of attention, and also the highest levels of awareness possible here, which once again will result in you having a higher shot rate and a stronger work close rate. Here, we also focus on value dense emails. This is something that's been ripping for us lately, and it's been very, very, very helpful, which is literally stop sending just reminders to Calendly. You still need to send them. Of course, we always keep the 24-hour, 2-hour before the call, and 10 minutes before the call kind of like sequence. And we've even seen like people sending like 10, 30 days email sequences for no reason when they book a call. But anyways, one thing that we focus on with these value dense emails is loading them with value. Like here, the body of the email is the value itself. So a lot of people are going to stress over CTRs and all those kind of things, when in reality, like your best performing email is going to have like a 10% CTR. Why would that be more careful than just having the body of the email being the value itself, when you can get like a 50% open rate and they're going to read through it? They're probably not going to read through all of them here, but they're going to read the ones that they feel are the most important to their situation here. Here we send up to 6 emails per day. Is common best practice in the industry right now. And we do it by controlling the open rates and basically the churn rate of these emails. So our metrics right now are literally KPI should be 40 to 50% open rate. Whenever it's above that, we keep trying one more and one more. Whenever it drops below that, we just revert back to the most successful action. And instead of 4, we do 3. Instead of 3, we do 2. Whatever we need there. As you can see, this is what we have for one of our clients, where you're gonna ask yourself like, okay, what do I talk about in these emails? Literally, just targeting all the most time-consuming questions that are frequently asked to your sales teams and the most common objections that you usually get. So you gather this from your sales team and from your ICP. From this offer specifically, which is in the sales niche, we had to make sure that we did a perspective about the industry, which is our perspective. That is not the typical like just take a few calls per day from the beach and all these kind of things, where we actually set the expectation that it's going to be hard work so that they keep it in mind and we set a higher standard. And by product of that, if they actually read it, we are going to get higher intent clients, not even leads, where they're going to put more work in and they're going to see better results. And obviously, the story of the owner, so that they actually can relate to him. Most people relate to him because they're in the same situation. And reframing the most common objections here, which is, will this work for me? Do I have time for this? What kind of expectations do I have? And what's the success rate? And then setting a few case studies to actually get them, I guess, like more trust value assets there. But here, you can literally just grab any single piece of value dense content and leverage AI to turn it into an email as well. Especially if it is an outlier that you've had in your YouTube channel that a lot of people are converting through that video, you can always use it and leverage it, which is going to perform extremely well. And also using visual proof assets that are going to back up the claims that you make in your email, because you want them to understand that everything that you're saying is being proven not just by yourself, but also by your clients, and that it is something real, especially nowadays that we are dealing with a lot of scammers. And if you actually have good fulfillment, this is going to be very useful in your process here. Now, the next thing is actually focusing on your sales teams. Whenever you're going to be building your sales team, you need to actually understand what they should be understanding about the industry, what they should be knowing about the industry, what kind of like resources they should be sending to the prospects, all those kind of things here. So we need to make sure that everything is standardized, if you will, so we can have consistent ramp-up stages, because usually what's going to happen is that your first closer, your first hire, is not going to turn out the way you want to be, right? So you're probably going to need to fire and then hire another one, and then you're going to keep spending your time, your hours, just answering questions that you've probably answered to the previous 3 closers that you've probably fired. And that way you can save yourself a lot of time. And they also will have a standard SOPs that you can just like refer to whenever they're dealing with any issue here. We do this in a repeatable way. That way we can basically decrease and even eliminate that human delay and human error that might happen once they're actually being onboarded in the offer. Then next thing that we do is actually training SDRs very hard. I'm a big believer that SDRs do half of the work for the closers, especially if they actually do it the right way. If they understand the levels of attention, the level of interest of your leads, and they can tailor resources to their situation, that's going to result in a way easier close for your closer there. Because here, what's going to happen is that every prospect is going to feel a level of attention, a level of, I guess you could say, tailored process to their situation, that they're going to feel, okay, this program, they're on top of literally everything, even if I'm not a client already. And also they're giving me resources based on what my bottlenecks are before the call even occurs, right? And if you can actually have congruency within your sales team, and your sellers are dialed in, your closers are dialed in, and they're all on top of everything, it's going to be the easiest laydowns you're ever going to have. And trust me that your closers will thank you once you actually understand what the best SDR SOPs are and what the best approach to each prospect is, and how to train your SDRs to make a fuck ton of money and also to have easy closes. Then obviously we're going to track everything that we're doing here with closer setters, the funnel. We're just going to figure out what the bottlenecks are and make decisions based on facts. We're never going to do that on emotions or feelings. We've even seen offers that are, they're getting like a 5-6 ROAS, but for some reason the CPM just spikes for a day, or CPM spikes for a week. They're still profitable though, and they just turn off the campaign or whatever push like that. Just make sure to never do that, by the way. But also, not acting based on emotions is going to make you understand what's the highest leverage thing to do right now. That's going to be the easiest thing to fix as well. So once you actually get that and you understand this and you have it visually graphed in whatever kind of dashboard, this is the one that we use in our agency, you're going to know what to fix at all times here. Even with sales teams, one of the things that we focus on a lot here is making sure that our setters and our closers are reporting back to us which one is the most common objections that they're getting. That way we can train on them specifically instead of training on some useless stuff that might have happened like 1 or 2 times across a full month. So we only want to train on repeated patterns that they've been dealing with. Basically, we've even had offers where they didn't have a single wife objection. They had it maybe like 3 times in the span of like 100 calls. So why would you focus on that? Of course, your closers will want to be better, but what's going to give them the best commissions and what's going to give you the highest return is probably just training on those objections that are a common pattern and that they're still fumbling after a while. And last thing that we focus focus on in terms of systems are upsells and lifetime value. We want to make sure that this is as maximized as possible because these are the easiest laydowns that you'll probably have if you have good fulfillment. And even if you have mid fulfillment, you can still handle objectives. It's going to be way harder, of course. That's going to give you feedback on what you need to improve in the program once they actually close or they don't close, in that upsell call, if you will. But first things first that you need to understand is who qualifies here. Because you, as the offer owner, you probably don't want to waste your time with donkeys on the one-to-one calls with your specific hour of the day just for them to not see any extra results and not to get a case study. Because that's going to result in you having way more money down the line than just having that quick, like 3K, 4K, 5K, even 10K. Because once you actually prove this, you can sell it up front as well, and you can just increase your average order value a lot if you actually understand which prospects should be qualified for that one-to-one right away instead of going through the main program here. But setting timelines and actually building scripts to seed this idea is what's going to be the protocol to actually close them here. Whether if it is yourself, which is going to be a way easier close, or if it is your sales team, here you're going to need them to actually follow up with the clients themselves and just check on their progress. It doesn't have to be like every single fucking day, like a CSM. But even if they can do it like every 2 weeks, every month, and just have them like check out on what's their progress and all those kind of things, then it's going to result in a way easier upsell there. And just setting the idea like 2 weeks before. You don't want to do it too early. You don't want to do it too slowly. So just keep in mind that your process shouldn't be feeling burned out when you're actually doing this off the program and off of results as well. So you need to understand all those kind of things, of course. And once you actually close them, or fumble a deal, either or, make sure to ask why they actually did it or why they didn't close. If you ask why they did it, you're going to leverage that in all of your content, and also you're going to leverage that to keep doubling down on that in your program. And if they didn't, you're actually going to understand why your program, I guess, like was not good enough, quote unquote, for them not to upsell. And if it is a common repeated pattern, you're going to be able to see it very, very clearly, and you're going to feel like that's the most important thing to fix within fulfillment. And if it is a matter of just like your sales teams being too pushy when it comes to upsells, you're also going to be able to fix it, which is a pretty easy fix there. But as you can see, all of these things are going to increase your metrics pretty much instantly here without having to touch any kind of like content or ad credits or anything like that. So if you would like us to implement this for your offer on a done for you basis, just feel free to book a call with us, with me and my business partner, where we'll take a look at how it would work for your offer specifically, for your ICP specifically, how we wouldn't do any fucking AI slop like most people do or any template stuff. And yeah, if it wouldn't work, we'll just tell you as well.